Welcome to ACI, the Network Made Simple learning series. In this video, we will cover
Module 6, Advanced Topics and Other Integrations, ACI plugin for VMware VCenter. Through this learning series, we have learned how ACI can help both network and virtualization teams by consolidating and automating overlay and underlay networks, extending VM mobility across sites if needed, and enforcing consistent security policies across physical and virtual networks. In Module 2, Episode 4, we learned how to integrate VMware to ACI leveraging VDS VMN domains, which provide the network admin with extended visibility beyond the physical switch, simplifying troubleshooting and minimizing risk. But what about if you are a VMware admin instead and would like to define your network configuration including tenants, EPGs, and policies yourself? Well, the good news is that ACI has a certified VMware VCenter plugin that might allow you not only to configure the logical network, but also to get visibility into it in case something goes wrong. With this model, you don't have to learn everything the network admin would, since you will only be dealing with the logical network configuration, defining who can talk to whom, and without leaving VCenter. In this video, I'll install the new HTML5 ACI plugin in VCenter and show you the benefits of running it. To install it, we will follow 3 simple steps. First, we will check that all the prerequisites are covered. Second, we'll install the plugin. Third, we will connect the plugin on VCenter to our ACI fabric. Okay, let's start with step 1. It is always recommended to check Cisco's ACI configuration guide based on the version you are running. It is worth mentioning that we will use VMware Power CLI as part of the installation process, so make sure you have a Windows server running it. Once I have verified that all the prerequisites are met, I will now go to the Cisco software download site to download the required files to complete the plugin installation process. In our case, we will need 2 files. First, the file name install.ps1, which is the VMware Power CLI script that will be executed during the installation process. And then, the zip file, which contains the plugin itself. Once we download them, we will need to place the plugin package in a web server, so I'll go ahead and do it. I will start copying the files, and then I will validate that I can access the zip file from another workstation through HTTPS. Done, perfect. Okay, now just to be sure that we have everything we need, I will verify that Power CLI is installed in this Windows server. And it seems it is. We are now ready to install. So, let's do it. This should be very easy because we already checked that we have all the components, so we only need to run the script. So, I'll go to Power CLI and I'll execute the script that we downloaded before. Okay, take a look at this. The script is requesting some information, so let's provide it. First, the IP address of the VCenter where I want to install the plugin. Now, the web server where we downloaded the zip file that contains the plugin. And now, I need to provide my VCenter credentials. Maybe I didn't mention it before, but I guess it's pretty obvious that I need the appropriate credentials in VCenter to install the plugin, right? Perfect. Done. Now we just need to wait a bit. As soon as we see this message on the screen, we know that the plugin was installed. Let's now move on to step 3 and finalize our installation. Let's log in the vSphere client. The first login can take a while the first time because the plugin is being deployed. So it's only the first time. And voila! Now we can see the Cisco ACI Fabric tab. Let's click there. Now provide your APIC username and password, and yes, we're in. Done. That's it. From here, You can now configure your tenants, EPGs, and contracts to allow communication between different VMs in your VMware environment. Let's see how. In our scenario, we just want to provide a single tenant with two EPGs, web and database, and provide communication between them only for ICMP. So let's go ahead and configure this using our recently installed VCenter plugin. First, we will start creating our tenant. We will call it application tenant. Yeah, very original, right? Well, let's keep going. Then, we will be creating our two EPGs, and we will assign them with a bridge domain subnet so that we can leverage ACI Anycast gateway capabilities. We'll start with the web EPG, and we will configure a bridge domain with the 1.1.1.1/24 IP address. As you can see, in this case I'm using the default BRF and the default application profile that were created automatically when I created the tenant. Now I will create my EPG assigning the bridge domain I just created, and it will be assigned to this VMware VMN domain, which in this case is called edge-AVE. Done. Then we will do the same now for our database EPG. In this case, we will also create a bridge domain with a 2.2.2.1/24 IP address instead. And I will also create its corresponding EPG with the database bridge domain this time. And we are ready. As you can see, we now have the same EPG network configuration on both VCenter as BDS per groups and on APIC, effectively configuring the same network and avoiding isolating different networks for virtual and physical environments. Let's assign both EPGs to VMs now. Starting with the web VM, assigning it to the web EPG and then the database VM to the database EPG. Great. Now, let's open a couple of consoles to each VM and test communication. As you can see, the IP address on the web VM is 1.1.1.2, and the database VM has a 2.2.2.3 IP address. Both can ping their gateways, which is the same IP address we configured in each bridge domain, meaning that any ACI leaf node can reply without the need to configure HSRP or VRRP. Now, if we test communication from the web server to the database one, we can see that it fails as expected. Why? Because a contract is missing. So, let's create one to fix this. We will leave that ping running, and I will create a contract allowing ICMP traffic to flow between my web EPG and my database EPG. Done. Let's go back to our console where we had left the ping running and immediately works. Simple, right? In summary, as you can see, by installing and using ACI VMware plugin, both VM admins and network admins can now use the same automated underlay and overlay network while having common visibility and consistent security without sacrificing their own configuration tools and knowledge domains. However, ACI integrations to VMware and other hypervisors do not stop there. There are many other solutions like VMware vRealize, Microsoft System Center, OpenStack, and many more. So, make sure you stay tuned to learn more about those integrations as well.